How many yards do you think Diore Hubbard, the redshirt freshman running back for West Virginia, is going to get against Arizona State? How many yards for Jeff Sims, the quarterback that went off last week for the Sun Devils? How many passing touchdowns are we going to see in this game between he and Scotty Fox Jr.? And then Curtis Jones Jr., the linebacker for West Virginia, got a few carries and got a couple touchdowns last week against Colorado. Are we going to see him at running back again? We're going to talk about all of that on this episode of Mountaineer Moment. This is the Mountaineer Moment, your source for all things West Virginia football and basketball. From pregame to postgame coverage and breaking news, we've got you covered. Let's go. All right, welcome in, everybody, to episode number 84 of Mountaineer Moment, your source for West Virginia football and basketball. My name is Troy, and it would mean the world to me if you hit that subscribe button, left a like or a comment on this video, or if you're listening, subscribe, leave a rating for us, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music. And again, video format is available on YouTube as well for you. So if you want to head on over there and hit that subscribe button for us, we'll keep growing this community here at Mountaineer Moment. Again, 84 episodes in, and this is a show that just started at the beginning of Mountaineer football season for 2025. And so we are plugging away at this thing multiple episodes every single week. And in this crossover season, West Virginia football and basketball both going at it, throughout their regular seasons. It's a busy time here on Mountaineer Moment, and there's a lot of news and things to keep up with. A lot of games to respond to, a lot of games to prepare for, and that's what we seek to provide for you on a Mountaineer Moment. And so every week throughout the college football season this year, one of the consistent things that we've done is give you an opponent preview, give you some keys to victory as well that we do this week for Arizona State. But one of the other fun episodes that we get to do, and again, it really is just for fun, is just an over or under prediction for a few different stats for the coming game. It might be a player statistic, they're going to go over or under 75 yards rushing, and you can play along, and then you can watch the game and play along in that way. And so I'm going to give you a few numbers relating to this West Virginia game coming up at Arizona State. A few numbers to play along over or under for these, and I'll give an answer to you for them as well. Mentioned them in that introduction, the players that we're going to be talking about: Jeff Sims, Scotty Fox Jr., Curtis Jones Jr., and then the redshirt freshman back for the Mountaineers. That's where we're going to begin. Diore Hubbard. Diore Hubbard, we're going to put a line for him for his all-purpose yards, so rushing and receiving yards, and we're going to set that line at 95.5. How many yards will Diore Hubbard accumulate in this game? 95 or 96 would be over. And the reason we're putting that line there, so it's West Virginia is riding a 2-game win streak, and it's no coincidence, to me at least, it's no coincidence that Diore Hubbard, that these are the two best games of the season for him. He's a redshirt freshman. He had a 29 carry, which was by far the most he's ever had. 108-yard performance against Houston on the ground, where the West Virginia obviously got that 45-35 victory. And then he followed that up with 158 yards rushing and receiving combined against Colorado in the home victory last Saturday. Now, we know the deal with Diore Hubbard and this running back room as a whole. Jaheim White going down early, Ty Edwards, going off against Pitt, but then not being able to be healthy the rest of the year. Just other situations, Sincere Bowers, and he's been out with injuries. Clay Ash has gotten some time. Diore Hubbard's been in there, and it's been a revolving door at running back. But over the last couple weeks, what we've seen is Diore Hubbard kind of take charge of that spot, similar to what Scotty Fox has done at QB. Diore Hubbard has been the feature back predominantly. I mean, the other guys are getting some action too, but he's been the guy over the last couple weeks, and he has not disappointed. Again, 108 yards on 29 carries against a really talented Houston defense, and you got the job done, ran really, really well, really, really hard. And he followed that up with 158 yards against Colorado last week. 158 yards rushing and receiving. He caught, I think it was a 69-yard pass on a wheel route that was beautifully thrown, just a beautifully executed play between he and Fox. Yeah, Diore Hubbard led the team in catches and yards last week, so it wasn't just that big 69-yarder, but he had 6 catches on the day for 94 yards, 16 carries for 64 yards for Hubbard, 4 yards a pop at that. And, you know, if West Virginia wants to extend this winning streak, and we're going to talk about this even in our Keys to Victory episode coming later this week, but if West Virginia wants to extend this winning streak, they need it to not just fully be on Scotty Fox's shoulders. Right, and I think that's part of the problem, if you can say it that way, or one of the reasons, I should say. One of the reasons West Virginia did not win that game against TCU, and many of us expected, or as you watch that game, you're like, they might win this game. They could have won this game. They should have won this game. They didn't because, and Scotty Fox had a great game, obviously, through the air. But outside of, Cam Vaughn, it just, you feel like Scotty's getting the help out of Diore Hubbard over the last couple weeks that he didn't get prior. Diore Hubbard and others that we're going to talk about again too. Like, you just need that production to go up from those other guys. But again, the line, before we get any more down that that rabbit trail, 95.5 all-purpose yards, rushing and receiving for Diore Hubbard. Now, Sun Devils have been the second best run defense in the Big 12 this season. They obviously trail Texas Tech, who's the nation's leader in that department, by a significant margin. But nonetheless, they are second in rushing yards allowed per game, fewest. And I looked into this because obviously Hubbard's been a factor last week, 6 catches, 94 yards through the air. But they have not given up much out of the backfield receiving-wise to opposing running backs. I think if it just looked like, oh, maybe Hubbard can do what he did last week. Now, not to say that he can't just because they haven't given it up this year, but they really haven't. Like, they've been very good against running backs in the passing game, not letting them get anything. And so with that said, for that reason, that's probably my main reason, to be honest, I'm going to take the under here of 95.5 total yards for Diore Hubbard, but I do think that's a fair line. And a couple weeks ago, you wouldn't have thought that he would get there at all. But because of what he's looked like last couple weeks, he definitely has a chance to. So take the under for that, Diore Hubbard. But it would be nice to see an over. And if he does go over that increases West Virginia's chance to win tremendously, because you're going to need a really good performance from the running backs. Again, you can't just fully rely on Scotty Fox in this passing attack. Second number I'm going to give you, I talked about Jeff Sims in our Behind Enemy Lines episode. But Jeff Sims, the Sun Devils quarterback, he's coming off his best game, the best game of his career, and he's been around the block. He started at Georgia Tech back in 2020. Okay, back in 2020. Scotty Fox was in freaking middle school, right? Like, that's nuts. And he's still playing. And he just got a start against Iowa State a couple weeks ago. Remember, Arizona State is coming off a bye, but their game previous to that bye week, Jeff Sims threw for 177 yards, a touchdown and an interception, but that's not the thing that was the major storyline. That kid ran for 228 yards. Shouldn't even say kid. He's 23 years old. He's a grown man. He should go get a job. But 228 yards, 2 touchdowns, 29 carries. That broke a school record for rushing yards in a single game by a quarterback, and that's the game he's coming off of heading into this one. So we're setting his line, again, 99.5 rushing yards for Jeff Sims, the Arizona State quarterback. So will he break the century mark? Will he get over 100, or will he be below that mark, over or under? And I did this, a little bit of research on this one regarding West Virginia's defense, Zach Alley's, play calling style and everything like that, because West Virginia has faced numerous dual threat quarterbacks over the course of this season. Several, almost every game have they faced a quarterback that's been a threat to run. And with that said, there has not been a quarterback reach the 100-yard mark yet this season against the Mountaineers. And I would expect that to continue. I would expect Zach Alley is going to seek to make Jeff Sims beat them with his arm. So I would take the under here because I think the focal point, especially considering what he just did against Iowa State on the road, you're going to focus on trying to take that away as much as you can, make him beat you with his arm because he's not as big of a threat with his arm as he is with his legs. It's just the facts. That's who he is. That's who he's been for over the course of his long college football career. That's who he is. And I don't expect, again, no West Virginia opposing quarterback has come off of a game where they, were coming off of 229 yards right on the ground, 228. So he's hot, right? He's trending in the right direction, trending toward an over. But I would still take the under here because West Virginia's got experience against quarterbacks like that, and I think you're going to sell out against the run and make him beat you with his arm. So take the under. All right, thirdly, which kind of plays off of that, is 2.5 total passing touchdowns between West Virginia quarterback Scotty Fox Jr. and any others, and then Arizona State and any other quarterbacks with Jeff Sims. So again, we know the story. Jeff Sims been around the block, and Scotty Fox is a true freshman who's making his 5th start. Believe it or not, that's just wild to think about that it's progressed so quickly, right? We know the story throughout the season. Nico Markiel started week 1 and week 2 and week 3. Scotty Fox saw time in that game. Then Nico opened up Big 12 play against Kansas, but he was hurt. And then Khalil Wilkins got the start against Jalen Henderson got the start against Utah. Got a little banged up, didn't play well. Then it was Khalil Wilkins against BYU. Then after a bye week, it was our guy, Scotty Fox against UCF. Then he started against TCU. Then he started against Houston, and then he started against Colorado. In the last 2 games he's played, he has led the Mountaineers to victory, and he will be looking to start his 5th game. The most consistency we've seen at the quarterback position all season long over the last few weeks is Scotty Fox leading the charge at the quarterback position. Now, again, it's no secret. We've talked about it already. Both these teams like to run the football. Each of these quarterbacks, Sims and Fox, they've thrown just 1 touchdown in each of their last 2 games. And so, Scotty Fox had 1 touchdown pass against Houston and 1 touchdown pass against Colorado. And the last 2 games for Sims as well, which is Houston and Iowa State. He had 1 touchdown in each of those games. So that's a combined total of 4 touchdowns. And so it's not a very high mark, 2.5. I almost put it at 3.5, but then I thought that would be too easy of an under. But at 2.5, you're basically saying, all right, maybe one of these guys is going to throw 2 touchdowns, and the other one's going to throw 1. And I would say take the over on that one because I think it's possible we will see one of these guys find the end zone twice while the other one finds it once. So take the over there, but keep an eye on that. Certainly an interesting thing, again, coupled with Jeff Sims and what he's able to do in the running game. If he can't get going, if West Virginia sells out to stop the run, well, how productive is he going to be through the air? That could be the difference between a win and a loss for the Mountaineers. That could be a really telling sign as to how the outcome of this game will be, what it'll be looking like, all right, at the end of this one. So, lastly, and this was a fun one, Curtis Jones Jr., the bandit position West Virginia linebacker who got some goal line carries and made the most of his opportunity against Colorado on Saturday. That first touchdown run he had was insane. And I said it right after the game. I said it probably watching the game. Like, no one else on this West Virginia roster, that's healthy as the running back position is getting that one in the end zone. He on a 4th down, he carried it, looked like he was stopped, just kept on pushing to find the end zone, did Curtis Jones Jr. He's a linebacker, but he's a former 2-time All-State running back in the state of West Virginia, 6'4", 225 pounds, and he had 2 touchdowns and 3 carries. Again, impressive. physical runs inside the 5-yard line, and he found the end zone twice. The question I have is Rich Rodriguez going to utilize Curtis Jones Jr. again, right, to make himself look like even more of a genius for that decision? Because so far it's paid off. So far it looked really, really good in a very small sample size. But will Rodriguez, you look to utilize him again this week? And my answer to that is yes. Now, we're putting a line. He had 3 carries, I think, last week. Putting a line at over or under 4.5 carries for Jones Jr. in this one. And I'll tell you what, I'm answering this one in a, I guess it's a, you could call it bias or whatever you want to call it. I'm going to take the over because I want to see it. Not necessarily because I think it's going to happen, but I want to see it because I think that would indicate that you're going to be around the goal line. I don't know that, I mean, you might start getting carries at your own 20, 30-yard line. But he was the goal line guy. He was the inside the 5-yard line guy against Colorado. And if you're getting the ball down there, I want to see him again because if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And he was very impressive on the ground. Was this West Virginia linebacker, former high school All-State running back twice in the state of West Virginia. Incredible career at running back for his high school. And we're just going to have to see. We're just going to have to see. But 4.5, I would say take the over. And again, for me, that's just because that's what I want to see. I want to see us attacking. I want to see us getting down, toward the end zone and giving it to a big physical guy that can punch it in for you. That's what we've missed without Ty Edwards. Obviously, C.J. Donaldson, played that role in the years past. He's no longer here. Ty Edwards out for the season. You need someone big, someone physical, and you like that. You'll definitely like what you saw in Curtis Jones last week. Hopefully that can continue if he gets his opportunity. So take the over on 4.5 carries in that one. But that's it. Over or under, weekly installment of that. Of course, there'll be another one coming next week for the regular season finale when West Virginia hosts Texas Tech. As a reminder, too, I believe it will be. I'm pretty sure it will be, at least I should say. The next episode of Mountaineer Moment, which will be episode number 85, will be coverage of the pregame coverage of the Backyard Brawl Hardwood Edition because Pitt's coming to Morgantown for a matchup on Thursday night, and we'll have you covered. We've so far, at least in the short regular season of basketball, we've previewed every game. They've been pretty good episodes for us, so we like that. And then obviously a post-game reaction following, and all sorts of that major storylines that we'll break down here on this, here on this channel, Mountaineer Moment. This is episode number 84. Please, if you're not already, hit that subscribe button, drop a like, leave a comment, and we'll see you next time.